What's up, guys? Garrett and Andy from Sheer Drop Wrestling back. We're going to be talking about the episode of Raw from last night, October 2nd, 2023. It sure was one of the Raws of all time.
You beat me to it. I was going to say it was an episode of all time. Damn it.
So we literally just talked about this like 45 seconds ago as my pasty self is blowing out the white balance on my webcam. What's going on with like go home episodes lately? Like, I don't know if it's because SmackDown is like the actual go home now, where it's literally the last thing before the pay-per-view. But for the last episode of Raw before the pay-per-view, I'd have absolutely no idea that there was a pay-per-view this weekend. It felt like there was nothing of stake on the show, sans maybe the main event that we thought we were getting at Fastlane, and then surprise,
We didn't.
we didn't. I don't know. I mean, there's just go-homes haven't felt like go-homes for a while, in the sense of they just don't make me any more hyped for the pay-per-view, or I guess the premium live event, the PLE, whatever. They just don't really scratch that itch anymore.
Nah, definitely not. I kind of was just left wanting to fast forward to Saturday for the pay-per-view, because it felt, a bit clip showy, not too much, but very much so like, hey, we're just kind of turning the gears to keep things moving until we get to Saturday.
And I know that like
Wasn't
Fastlane isn't, it's commonly referred to as like a B level pay per view. It's just not one of like the big four or the big five, depending on, how you personally feel about Money in the Bank. So it's kind of just one of the lesser entries in the WWE calendar to kind of bide time until we get to Survivor Series next month. But man, I'm not feeling some kind of way about Saturday.
no,
And
no, I'm really
on paper,
not.
the card looks great, which we're going to have our predictions out for that a little later on. And I'm sure it'll be one of those instances where, like, it's an okay show at the end of the day. But I'm not feeling excited for it.
No, neither am I. I remember that, the Shinsuke Seth match is going on, which I guess I'm kind of excited about, just to get it over with, I suppose.
Yeah, the
Yeah, I like where we've gotten to with it, which we'll touch on, I know, as we get through like the episode, but yeah.
yeah, I'm kind of in that same boat. I want to see the match more so for the instance of to get it over with, rather than to see the match at this point, because I don't know. I mean, I don't think they're gonna have Shinsuke do it. They didn't have him do it before. Probably not gonna have him do it again. But I don't know. I still got what? We still got like an hour and a half,
Yeah.
2 hours before we do our predictions. So maybe I'll have a change of heart. Maybe I'll swing it so Shinsuke wins. Who knows? But anything of substance that happened on this Raw, we of course had the main event, which saw Gunther defend the Intercontinental Championship against Ciampa, after Ciampa kind of goads him into just putting the belt on the line tonight. And Johnny Gargano's back. So we got a little bit of a DIY reunion post-main event. And then we got Chucky. And we didn't actually get to see the DIY reunion. I'm sure for everyone in live attendance, it was pretty cool. Us watching at home weren't so privileged to be able to see it.
Mm-hmm.
I
think
still
we
feel
got
some
like
kind of way about that.
Yeah, I think we got a couple frames of movement of them, running towards the center of the ring, maybe, if that.
And then nothing. And then
Big mad.
It's certainly not doing the show any favors.
It really is not.
We just needed
It could have
one
been
thing,
Yeah.
one thing on this show, and we didn't even get that. But yeah, so I guess before we get started, I've been saying this a little more towards the end of the videos, but we're gonna change up the formula a little bit. Gonna say it now. So as you guys can see, we're a pretty new channel. We're trying to get into the swing of things. So if you want to leave us that like, leave a comment, subscribe, let us know about how we're an L channel. We got our first hate comment. I'm so happy about that. Uh, but yeah, it would do us a whole world of wonder. We're just trying to, grow an audience, grow a fan base, kind of do whatever we can. But we'll just kind of jump into things, I guess. This probably won't be a very long episode. We kind of touched base on. Neither of us really have a ton of notes for this because there wasn't really anything to take a whole bunch of notes on.
Yep.
Right. So the match, or I guess the night, did start out. It looked like it was going to be really fun, where the advertised Nia and Shayna, we cut live, and they're just immediately on the ramp, just like brawling. So a little hot way to start the night. Match isn't underway. These two are just raring to go at it, and they're just beating the hell out of each other to start off the night. They make their way out to the ring. It's just a lot more. Raquel comes out to, I guess, make the save, and then Rhea comes out after Raquel, and I was like, oh, okay, Rhea's gonna also beat up on Nia for like getting involved in her business. And then after everyone goes their separate, like, there's a little more order restored or whatever, Rhea just goes back to attacking Raquel, and it's like, well, what about the person that like caused you to miss like 2 weeks?
2 weeks. Yep.
We're just gonna glance over that, I guess. But everyone eventually finds their way out of the ring, except Rhea. And Rhea says that she's not leaving yet. She's got some more stuff to talk about. She calls out the Judgment Day, who are only represented by Priest and Dom tonight. Commentary said that there were rumors that Finn Balor wasn't there tonight. And I thought that like that meant for sure he was going to show up in some capacity. And then he didn't. So I don't know why they announced it as a rumor he wasn't there. They could have just said, Finn's not here tonight.
Well, because it was only a rumor, man. They were told from an unreputable source.
The dirt sheet said that Balor wasn't going to be there tonight. But she says she was gone for 2 weeks. Judgment Day kind of fell apart. Dom doesn't have a title. She says she left a lot of responsibility to Priest to watch over things, and she is disappointed in Priest for literally doing none of it while she was gone. But Judgment Day doesn't have a leader, remember. It's definitely not Rhea.
Absolutely
not. She starts just kind of berating Priest, letting him know how much she's been like let down. And he says, basically, with all due respect, you're not saying anything that I don't already know. It's like, I've been thinking about this too. And then he's like, and not to start anything or to get anyone to feel some kind of way. And then immediately just throws Dom under the bus.
Yeah.
Like, but Dom doesn't have a title.
Nor does he have the money in the bank.
No, Damien has that. Did you know? He never talks about it. So that gets Rhea to turn her attention back to Dom. And Dominic is actually having a rematch against Trick tonight on NXT. I'm sure he's going to lose that. I don't think they'd put it on Trick just to take it right back off of him. Be not very nice.
No.
Not very nice at all.
Mm-mm.
But she tells Dom, like, hey, you either win that title or you don't come home. Ball's in your court. Jey Uso comes out for some reason. They weren't talking about the whatever. I don't think he just kind of comes out.
Yeah, he just decides to interrupt whatever they're doing.
And then Priest wants the smoke, and turns out Priest also isn't medically cleared, allegedly. I have no idea if that's real or not. So Dom steps in, says he'll take care of it. Immediately eats a super kick. It cuts to Priest, who looks very disappointed at his son. And then McDonough.
It's a look Dom's used to.
Very used to. And then McDonough comes out and jumps Jey from behind. So He's got Jay tied up. Dom is just kind of punching Jay in the gut. Tells Priest to like, hey, come on, get in on this action. Looks like he's gonna try and like clock him with the briefcase. Cue the Cody Rhodes save. And then finally, Adam Pearce comes out, says, screw all this noise. Here's what we're gonna do. Fastlane, it is gonna be Judgment Day versus the impromptu tag team of Jay and Cody for the tag titles. This took up the first like 20 to 25 minutes of the show.
Yeah, it was about like 25 minutes because I think there was a commercial break, and that's when we finally got the first match.
It certainly was a way to start out the night.
Yeah.
If you would have told me that the beginning, like the whole Nia Shayna thing, would then resolve in having Cody and Jay in the ring and we're still in the same segment, I wouldn't believe you. But here we
rightfully
are.
so.
I mean, I guess it kind of ties every story together.
Yeah, I hope
I
they're.
didn't like it very much.
No. I hope they're using this just kind of as a way to tie up some loose ends with whatever issues going on between Jay and the Judgment Day, or Cody and the Judgment Day, or Cody and Jay, just to get it all kind of wrapped up in some way, and then Jay and Cody continue to do their own things separately.
Mm-hmm.
And that be that.
At least they finally dropped the whole like Jay joining the Judgment Day after he kicked him in the face a couple times. So at least we don't like have that counter anymore.
Yeah, that's very true.
For now.
That's what I was going to say. Yeah, for now, until they possibly decide to resurrect that idea sometime in the future.
Give it until like Survivor Series, if we're still doing like War Games this year or whatever, and then they're gonna try and be like, hey, like come on, you know, join the Judgment Day.
It's cool. You kicked us in the face a few times, but like, it's cool, dude. We all do it to each other sometimes.
Yeah. Hey, it's exactly what McIntyre said. All he's got to do is say sorry, and everything's forgiven. We call that a little foreshadowing. Right. So after that, like you said, it goes to commercial, and then we finally get our first match, which is Alpha Academy versus Imperium, and they don't have Gunther out with them right now. I guess in kayfabe he's like getting ready for his match. Well, no, because he didn't have a match technically yet. So
yeah, I
don't know where Gunther is.
I think he kind of just left them to, their business. So that's kind of about how he left them. The last week, like, hey, you guys are kind of really just, not getting shit done. Go get it done.
You guys are kind of getting.
I'm not going to help
nerves.
you. Yeah,
figure it out.
Yeah.
I have next to nothing about this match. Otis didn't get in a whole lot of stuff. At least he was able to hit the caterpillar. There was that spot where he was supposed to launch Gable outside of the ring. That didn't look like it went as planned. Gable ended up flying, I think, like 5 feet less than intended. So Vinci kind of had to scramble to catch him.
He got about 6 inches out of the ring.
Yeah, it didn't
the width of his body.
Well. The intention was there. The execution was not.
No.
It was a cool spot in theory. It just didn't come off the best. More shades of Imperium, kind of working, kind of falling apart. And then a win via an Enziguri in 2023.
Yep.
That's it. Those are my notes.
Yeah. I mean, I don't really have too much. Gable was doing the Gable thing of, being like a technical, actual wrestling that you would think of on the mat and everything. And yeah, most of the rest of my notes are just everything else that you already touched on. The one little, like, slightly botched spot, I suppose, and then the finish.
Yep.
It was a match.
It sure was.
I don't
There was a bell.
I don't
There
know.
was a 3 count. It sure was.
Yeah, yeah. Like I don't know what it really did, other than I guess kind of be like, ah, yeah, Vinci knows what he's doing. Like he's getting back in there, doing the thing.
But I guess if there's a takeaway from this, at least like from crowd reaction wise,
Hmm.
it sounds like Gable's still over. Like just because they're not
Yeah,
running with him in like the Gunther program anymore, like it sounds like he and Otis and Maxine, the whole academy as a whole, it sounds like they're still getting those crowd reactions. Crowd is still fairly in on the thank you and like the shoosh and all that type of stuff. So it's at least his star is still burning a little brighter than it was, last year or whatever.
yeah.
I still can't get over the fact that like someone won a match with an enziguri though. It was almost like a champ. What was it? The ripcord knee that definitely was just like a bicycle knee.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was. Yeah, and
What a
that's what
time!
did it, man.
What a time to be alive. We're going back to like the 40s when like a body slam was a finish. It's like sick. Love it. We see Tegan Knox, so she is backstage talking to Adam Pearce. Obviously, she was supposed to have the NXT Women's Championship match with Becky tonight, after Becky successfully retained against Tiffany Stratton at No Mercy. And very good match. I know we don't do a whole lot of NXT based content on here, but I very much so enjoyed that whole card. That was just a really fun night of wrestling.
It was.
And wouldn't you know it, Chelsea Green interrupts, puts her foot in her mouth, and winds up getting a match against Tegan later in the night. And I always forget Tegan is Welsh until she speaks, and then it's like, she's Welsh. We got, what was next? Bronson Reed and Cedric Alexander.
Yep.
Do you have anything for this?
Uh, just that we got to see two people we just like never see pretty much. That was kind of neat. Too bad it was pretty much just a squash match.
Yeah,
This is
got
all of
the,
like
the
3 minutes.
entrance.
Yeah.
Which,
And then Bronson, like, there was like a little bit of back and forth, and then Bronson just kind of started throwing his weight around. That's kind of just what ended the match.
I was fully expecting this to go maybe like 30 seconds bell to bell, and I was pleasantly surprised when Cedric actually like took control the first, I don't know, minute or 2 minutes of the match. And I was like, oh, like there's a chance. And then like you said, Bronson just remembers he's big strong man, and it's like, oh, there was never a chance. Don't play with my emotions like that. Reed hits the tsunami, which I'm sure Wade Barrett is happy he gets to call again. And that's it. That was the match. It wasn't very long. It served its purpose of just giving another W to Bronson and making him look like just this absolute like force.
Yeah. Powerhouse.
Moving on. So there's a little bit of a recap of Miz TV from last week, and then the whole like Drew Kofi thing that's been going on. And after that, we see Drew also has sought out Adam Pearce, and he just says, "I'm not doing God, excuse me." He says, "I'm not doing Miz TV tonight," and that's it. He's like, "I did it last week. I'm not doing it 2 weeks in a row. Miz can F off," basically. Pierce just asks, I guess confidentially, like, "Hey, is, everything okay?" And then Drew gets annoyed because Pierce is like, "Oh, well, you're asking how I'm feeling too about not doing the right thing and not doing this and doing that or whatever." And then Adam Pearce just kind of catches a stray And Drew says, I don't remember anyone doing anything when the bloodline was running rampant. And then he just walks away. So everybody's catching strays with Drew
Drew.
McIntyre in the current mood that he's in. And I'm all for it. Gives Drew a little bit of an edge, gives him that little bit more of a character. We keep saying every week, oh, the heel turn's got to be around the corner. It's got to be around the corner. But when?
Yeah.
Feels like every week it's like, oh, they're going to pull the trigger. And they never do. And then the next week, it's like, oh, they're going to pull the trigger. They never do.
If that little back...
Uh-oh.
Last night.
We lost you for a bit there.
Oh, sorry. If that backstage segment says anything, it's... I felt like it could have been last night as I was watching.
But, like, the thing is, he's kind of, like, I mean, the heel turn, like, the seeds are planted.
Yeah.
But he's kind of right about everything. Like, the way he feels is completely justified to normal people. But I guess in WWE land, you know, if you're a babyface, you can't have ambiguity. And you can't question morality. It's just like a black and white. You're either a goody two-shoes or you're a nefarious scoundrel, so to speak. God forbid you elicit one emotion that doesn't fall between that spectrum, and suddenly it's like, why are you like this? This isn't the person I know.
I don't know how in the longevity of how it would last, but it would almost be nice to see something, treading the line between those two things of more like, how things are in real life. Things aren't always just one way or the other.
In real life, there are no baby faces and heels. Everyone's just a tweener. Well, there's definitely heels in real life.
There's absolutely heels in real life. In this world.
I rescind my former statement. All right. So we get the contract signing between Gunther and Ciampa. Ciampa's kind of spitting. Dude went on just a tirade on that mic.
Oh, yeah, he did. I wasn't sure if you were talking like him going on that or like just actually spitting, because he kind of does that a lot.
Well, yeah, he saved his actual spit for the main event. And
yes.
Don't worry, there was that spit too. But I said, hey, Ciampa spitting. He ain't winning though.
No.
And then Gunther retorts, and like that's the other good thing about Gunther is that all three of us, Daniel and Spirit, we put over Gunther's like in-ring stuff all the time, and we don't really ever talk about him on the mic. And the dude is just the most like real. Like it doesn't feel like it's a character for him. He's just like, you told me you're gonna win. I'm gonna tell you why you're wrong, and here's how I'm gonna beat your ass. And then he does it. He tells no lies. But Ciampa kind of calls out how he's taking forever to sign the contract. And, if he's so sure of it, why isn't he signing and all that other stuff? And he's like, well, you know what? I'm here, you're here, Pierce is here. There's still time to amend this contract. Let's just make it for tonight. And Gunther basically says, okay. And then he signs. And Adam Pearce says, it's official. It's going to be tonight instead. Probably would have been the same match if we got it at Fastlane, I guess. So, can't be too upset.
Probably. We just got it, almost a week early.
Yeah. There was a little bit of a Judgment Day segment. JD is like devising some sort of plan. I wasn't sure if you caught maybe what he said. I missed it because Priest was like also talking. Something like Kevin Owens related. I caught literally none of it. All right. Well, we'll have to go back for that. But something along the lines of like trying to sow dissension between everyone. How Jay is getting a shot for the tag titles and KO doesn't like Jay. and how it should be Sammy and Kevin that are something like that. I think is basically it's just Judgment Day trying to stir the pot to
Mm-hmm.
get someone to interfere in someone else's
Business.
match.
Yeah.
Um, a singles match between Xavier Woods and Ivar was up next. So we finally figured out Eric is currently, I think, just out injured. Um, so we're just getting a little bit of an Ivar singles run for a bit, which I'm okay with because he's the one that does moonsaults.
Yeah. I mean, the man can, hold things up in the ring on his own just fine.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, they've both been around for so long that like
Yeah.
both of them have the potential to just do single stuff. They just, I guess, choose not to. I've got written down that it was kind of funny seeing Kofi from behind the announce desk hype up Woods after he did that like dive or whatever. But if he's like standing up, he can't see the monitors that are showing the on-screen feed, and it's actually Kofi like, or not. It's Woods like on the ground writhing in pain after doing the dive, and Kofi's like, "Yeah."
Okay, but Kofi's a great hype man, though. Come
It
on.
was so fun having Kofi on commentary, but just the dichotomy between like what we were seeing and what we were hearing was chef's kiss. Woods wins with the backwoods, and then Ivar just because it was just a roll up, just gets back up and just keeps hitting him.
Yeah,
Ivar's a bad guy. He didn't hear no bell.
Yeah.
Kofi comes in to try and like help out, make the save. Doesn't go too well. He also gets flattened by Ivar. He stacks them, a la Roman Reigns, and hits a moonsault. Crushes them both.
Pancakes. Like pancakes, you could say.
Have you heard of my band? No one's going to get that. No one's probably even listening at this point. Our retention is not the best. But for those of you that are here, hello. We've got the obligatory Seth Rollins segment of the night. Do you want to talk about this one?
I mean, I guess there's like a little bit to say. It started out with Michael Cole in the ring, introducing Seth Rollins for the evening. Seth Rollins comes out, does his normal, welcome to Monday Night Rollins. Crowd's, he's over with the crowd and all that. And Michael Cole's just kind of trying to talk some sense into Seth. Like, hey, what are you doing, man? What's going on? You got a bad back. You don't really have to do this kind of deal. Like, what's going on? Seth essentially says that he's an addict to being in the ring. That's what I have in my notes. It's what he does. He equates it. He asks Michael Cole like how long he's been around. I believe he said 26 years.
26 years, and he's missed 2 shows.
Yep.
Ever.
Yeah, which is absolutely insane. Shout out to Michael Cole being there for all but 2 shows in 26 years. But equates it to how Michael Cole's always there. Seth's saying, this is, where my heart's at. This is what I'm here for. I'm here to be in the ring. I'm here to fight. All of that. And I don't remember if he got interrupted or he had called out Shinsuke, and that's whenever the short video came up on the screen of Shinsuke talking. It's just Shinsuke saying more Shinsuke things along the same lines.
It sure was.
At least that's about what I got from it. And Seth is up there watching the screen, and from behind comes Shinsuke with the chair. Hits him a few times in the back with the chair, gets him down. I think he might have hit him with, a couple other kicks or punches or something. And then I really kind of like this. The screen started counting for him as Seth was lying there on the ground.
That popped me.
that was funny. I liked that.
I have LMAO. He has a video of him counting to 10 playing after he beats the piss out of Seth.
Seth eventually does make it up, I think around 7
Yeah,
on
the
the
first
first
time was
time.
7.
Yeah. And then it's just more of Shinsuke beating the shit out of Seth. Video comes up again. Seth manages to get up again, I think, one more time. Once again, go for round 3. Same deal happens, except this time Shinsuke grabs a mic, starts counting himself, and speeds up slowly until he gets about 5, and then just quickly goes to 10,
Speed run.
grabs the belt, and declares himself a victor, essentially, of what was
I
not a
was
match at
upset
all.
about that. I would have loved to have the full video of him counting to 10. We were denied.
We were denied. That would have
Absolutely
been
denied.
good. Like, sure, have Shinsuke still grab the mic and count. Cool. Do it alongside the video.
The immersion. No, that popped me.
Yeah. Yeah. Actually, like a good bit of fun. I did like the segment a bit. And just hoping that we can wrap some of this stuff up.
Yeah.
Not that I don't like to see Shinsuke in the ring, or especially seeing Shinsuke as a heel, because he just owns it so well. Especially with them giving him the just video pack, not video packages, but videos,
Mm-hmm.
you know, for all of his promos and everything, so that we can get the captions and all that. But
Yeah, as vocal as I've been about just like still not really understanding how this match came to be. Normally pro wrestling doesn't work like this. This is kind of like the asterisk beside standard match build up, I guess.
mm-hmm.
It's been awesome to see what it's done for Nakamura. He's one of those wrestlers where he's not quite like an Asuka level, where it doesn't matter what creative is thrown at him. Crowd's gonna almost drop my phone. Crowd's gonna be behind him just 100%. He's definitely had periods where like that crowd support felt like it's wavered a bit, and his reactions have definitely like tapered off the last couple of years. If you go back to like NXT, when instead of like kind of how Seth, now everyone in the stadium is singing his song, before it used to be everyone was singing Nakamura's song. That's a fun little parallel, I guess, you can draw here. I think they've even talked about that during the feud. I think Seth said something along the lines of like, they don't sing your song anymore, they sing mine.
Yeah,
Probably.
that sounds absolutely like something Seth would
Sounds
say.
like something he would say. But it just makes me care about Nakamura again, more than just like, I know who Nakamura is, so I will cheer for him. But the actual like WWE representation of Nakamura is like, oh, cool, he feels dangerous again.
Yeah.
Still don't think he's winning.
No, absolutely not. I don't think he is. But it has done wonders for his character and just getting him out there again.
Do you think, I mean, so like percentage wise, not to spoil like predictions, or you could view this as a little teaser of the predictions. What percentage do you give, I'll word it this way, percentage of Seth retaining? Because Seth doesn't have to win, but Seth might retain. Well, it's the last man standing, so actually, yeah, Seth would have to.
Well, technically, if someone... Are there separate... Here's something that I might not know, just because I don't know if it's something that's come up previously or not in the history of wrestling. Do they have separate 10 counts for each wrestler?
Like if they both go down or something?
Yeah, so if one goes down, but say for some reason the other one falters or succumbs to pain from injuries or something, and then they go down like a second or two later...
I actually don't know. I feel like the in Yu-Gi-Oh terms, the correct ruling would be there's no count since neither man is
standing up. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
But the WWE rulebook is literally just like a coloring book. It's a scrapbook. They sell physical copies of it. It's just like nonsensical. Just like all of WWE's rules, just like pro wrestling as a whole.
Yeah. Nah. Of Seth retaining, probably like a 90 to 95%, I would say.
Yeah,
There's a non 0% chance that Shinsuke gets it, but it's not necessarily that I have my doubts of him winning or getting it, more so just my doubts of it coming off of Seth and like with this feud.
You gotta also wonder where like Priest factors into this, because like with as beaten as Seth Rollins is, to the point where now even like the commentators are calling him out on his shit and being like, "Why are you doing this?"
Yeah.
Last man standing match. Regardless of whether who wins or loses, that whoever comes out with that belt has like a very nice target on them for a cash in on that night.
So hear me out. Will be another one of my harebrained schemes for the evening.
All right, I'm listening. It'll be more entertaining than Raw.
Probably. Earlier in the night,
Yeah.
the Judgment Day tag team event thing happens. And for some reason, Cody and Jay win and take the belts off of them. Rhea's absolutely livid. Everyone's freaking out, losing their minds because no one has gold, assuming Dom doesn't get it back, because I doubt he's getting it back tonight.
0%.
Yeah. And Priest finally just is like, okay, cool. Whatever. I still got my money in the bank. I still have an opportunity to have gold. You guys all blew it. Whatever. And then later in the night, Seth retains, but is barely hanging on to life, and Priest just comes out, cashes in, takes the belt off of him.
I could see it.
Yeah. Will that happen at Fastlane? I don't think so. But is it something that I think would make some sense and, might spice things up in the whole Judgment Day scene, like I think they're trying to do with having Dom lose the belt and have some inner turmoil going on in there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Let's see. We got the Tegan Nox and Chelsea Green match that was made a little earlier in the night. I, for one, cannot wait for Piper to turn on Chelsea. Piper just looks over it. She's there solely because she has a title. As soon as those titles disappear, Chelsea is gonna just explode, pretty much.
Yep. Chelsea just can't seem to not get herself in trouble, so
but
she'll have her foot in her mouth at some point shortly after losing those belts.
Yeah. I know that when we did our tier list, I moved Chelsea into B solely off of her character work. And I pointed out on this that I noticed after Tegan went for that dive, like it's focused on Tegan. It's not even focused on like Chelsea at the moment, but just like even when she's off camera, she's fully committed. You see her like calling for a timeout, like laying on the floor or whatever before Tegan like rolls her back into the ring or whatever.
I didn't catch that. That's good.
Little things like that I'm like, God damn it, Chelsea Green just gets it. She gets it. I have Natty comes out, something numbers game, shiniest wizard.
Yep. That's it. That's it.
So
that's
I
all
imagine probably gonna get a tag team match next week.
Absolutely getting a tag team
Tegan
match.
and Natty against the champions, probably not for the belts. So good guys might get the win. Maybe it'll turn them into number one contenders. I don't know. They'll probably lose the title match. Just fantasy booking at this point. We've got Byron Saxton. He is interviewing Jay. This was very, very short. Mm-hmm. Jay just says Cody used to be the enemy. There's no bad blood anymore. And he'll take any excuse he can to beat up on the Judgment Day. In so many words.
Yeah.
Drew McIntyre comes out. So earlier when he told Pierce that there was a 0% chance he's doing Miz TV tonight, he also told Pierce to find Miz, tell him that if he comes out, do not come out.
Yep.
Essentially. And McIntyre, so he's just cutting his promo. He says he's basically going to stop involving himself in things that don't concern him and things that he didn't start, because it is not allowing him to do the things that he needs to do at 100%. Basically, doing the right thing, as he would say, and meddling in other people's business and making saves and stuff like that is not allowing him to be fully prepared for essentially him probably, chasing singles gold or whatever, because all these things keep coming up, and then it's just roadblock after roadblock, and he's over it. Specifically, he talks about Cody Rhodes, and the one line that really stuck out and was kind of like the crux of Miz coming out was Cody forgiving Jay is a weakness, it's not strength. It's like, they're probably going to do something with that line later on. And then Miz comes out, and Miz is upset that Drew canceled Miz TV. Miz is basically like, I thought we were buds, I thought we were cool. Not really, but Drew says the thing. He says, shut up, Miz, which is a t-shirt now on WWE Shop. It looks terrible.
Oh, no.
If you could believe, a WWE shirt doesn't look good.
I can believe that.
And then Drew just challenges Miz. Miz says a lot more other things. Basically just gets on Drew's nerves. And he's like, okay, well, how about we have a fight real quick? I'm itching to get another W. Miz says no, I am in a suit. He is not prepared to wrestle. So Miz says, Mama Miz taught me that the bigger man walks away from a fight. So he's like, so that's what I'm going to do. He walks away until Drew turns around, and then he hits Drew with the microphone. And that's it. And then it turns out, after commercial, the match was made official. Would you like to talk about this?
I just thought it was funny that Miz says that they weren't dressed to fight, but Miz clearly wasn't in like loafers or anything. He had ring shoes on.
Don't worry about that.
Like you could see. I also thought it was funny when Drew, during his promo that he was cutting, called it the Codyverse.
Yes. Little an IWC term there.
Yeah, that was funny. But yeah, no, other than that, I don't really have much else about it. It was a fight, or a wrestling match.
I did actually enjoy the finish. It was a little creative. One of the few good things about the night. So the match is just basic Drew versus Miz. It's a lot of Drew just overpowering Miz. Miz doesn't really get any opportunities to do anything. Miz gets caught trying to rip the turnbuckle cover, or I guess like the padding, off of the turnbuckle.
I'd be impressed if that man ripped the turnbuckle off.
The ref stops him. Drew gets him with the Glasgow kiss. And then he goes to the corner for the Claymore. He does the countdown. And by the time he gets to the 1, Miz still isn't on his feet. So then he grabs his sword and attempts to murder the Miz on live TV.
I thought we were getting the Claymore spot.
Yeah, with the sword. But the ref takes the sword away from him. Drew immediately goes back over to the corner that Miz was trying to take the padding off, just rips it off, slams Miz's head into the exposed turnbuckle, which absolutely was a spot that didn't need to happen, and just kind of further solidifies that edgy Drew is a thing. And then just Drew, was it the future shock that he hit him with? Because I don't remember a Claymore. I'm pretty sure it was the DDT.
I think it was the DDT.
Because that would make sense. Yeah. And that was it. Drew gets the win. He gets on the mic and he says he's not the person he was 30 seconds ago before this match was made. He says he's sorry, and now that he said he's sorry, he can immediately be forgiven. He does the most like audible eye roll you can ever do. Tosses the mic and just like starts walking back up the ramp. So he's feeling some kind of way about Jay still, which makes
Yeah.
me think that their stuff isn't quite over. Trick Williams got interviewed backstage by Jackie. It was basically just to introduce Trick to, I guess, the widespread audience.
Yeah.
There's a lot more people that watch Raw than NXT. Go figure. But it was basically him just putting himself over, saying who he is. He gets cut off by the Judgment Day, and JD was also there. That's pretty much all that happened.
Hmm.
And then for whatever reason, Jackie is now on the ramp. I guess immediately after the thing with, like, as soon as she was off camera and the thing with like Trick and Dom and the rest of Judgment Day happened, she must have like booked
I,
it. Like,
I think they had a commercial break between those two.
oh, was there?
Yeah, I think there was a commercial break or like a video package or something, so she
Got
didn't
it.
have to just totally haul it to the main
Like, if
stage
she did,
right
good for
after
her,
that.
you know? But whatever, we come back from whatever, and Jackie's back on the ramp now, and it's solely to interview Cody, and I kind of enjoy the audacity or just the sheer, like, I guess ego is maybe the
Yeah.
word that I'm looking for. That Cody's too good to be interviewed backstage. He still has to get his entrance. He still has to get the woe. Like, he doesn't do backstage stuff. It's in front of the camera or nothing.
Yeah.
And it was a very, very short interview. She basically just asks how he's feeling about the match that Adam Pearce made, and if he feels like his and Jay's backs are up against the wall. And he says, not really, and the good guys will win because the bad guys are bad. And then his
He
music
just kind
plays
of
again.
yeah, he just kind of Uno reverse cards that statement of no, it's not our backs up against the wall, it's theirs.
It's theirs. He gives him
I'm the good
reverse
guy.
and the draw four.
Yeah.
He's like, no, you. And then finally, we get Gunther and Ciampa for the Intercontinental Championship. The Championship.
The
The
Jamperianship.
Championship. No one's here anymore. We can just. We don't even have to talk about this, really. I don't have a whole lot of notes for this. I just have that the crowd was still super hot, even in like 10 to 15 minutes in. It seemed like people were genuinely interested. And I don't know if that's more so because it's Gunther and everyone's more familiar with a Gunther match. But I hope that this raises Ciampa's stake and it really exposed him to more of the widespread audience and shown that, like, he is a solid, like, mid-card, higher mid-card talent.
Competitor.
If he can, like, hold his own with Gunther. And in a very shocking turn of events, they gave him a lot of, like, situations where it looked like he was going to win. A lot of, like, when he hit the Willow's Bell, that was a near fall. Or all the times he got him in the Sicilian stretch.
Yep.
Especially that last time where Gunther had to get his foot on the ropes. That was a really good near one. The crowd was like super hot for it. And then when Gunther got his foot on the rope, you felt like the air come out of the room. I don't think anyone expected Ciampa to win on television.
No.
But he definitely had a lot of support. The crowd was very vocal in supporting the babyface and like booing the heel. It was just a really good TV match, I thought. It was marred by a lot of commercials, as Raw main events seem to be, unfortunately. I noticed when Gunther came out, or Ciampa, whoever came out first, there was still like half an hour left in the show. And then between like commercials and all that other type of stuff, this still got a ton of time, but it didn't get that whole time. And I just wish we could see a day where it did.
That's what pay-per-views are for, right? They don't have commercials in them, right?
I'm so
you gotta
pissed
believe
that
me.
they do now. Like,
Yep.
all because I don't want to shill out for like the most expensive tier of Peacock. But Ciampa passes out to a sleeper after Gunther rocks his shit with 2 power bombs, and then it hoists him up by his neck and just throws him to the mat and puts him in a sleeper. Ciampa starts spitting everywhere. And he passes out. And that's it. Post match.
That's the show.
Oh, what's up?
I said that's the show.
That's the show. Nothing else happened.
No.
No. So the rest of Imperium come out, and they're basically just like beating up a dead body at that point. Like Ciampa's still technically, like, I guess, unconscious. They're just kicking.
Yeah, they're kind of the goons that come out to the back alley after their boss just beat up the dude who was threatening their boss, just to be like, yeah, no, we'll still beat him up, boss. Don't worry, we got him.
Don't worry. But Johnny Gargano makes the save. Didn't recognize the music at first. I know that we're never gonna get the OG Rebel Heart, because I think it was like the CFO's music, and WWE doesn't like the CFOs anymore. It just doesn't hit the same.
It does not.
His OG music is like the only Johnny Gargano music. And I even knew that Gargano, like, I saw it spoiled on Twitter before I watched. So I knew he was coming out. And I still was like, I don't know who this is. Like, I have a very strong connection with Rebel Heart.
That was a total surprise for me. So that got a pop out of me, because I did not know that he was going to be coming out.
Which is cool, because now we've got DIY back together on the main roster. And what better way to hearken in DIY than to cut to commercial, or no, just end the show before they're able to hit their finish on the Imperium goons that are left over in the ring. What a phenomenal way to end this episode of Raw.
Literally needed
just 5 more
10
seconds.
five more seconds?
10,
something.
Just, oh man.
They were genuinely about to take off whenever they just cut it.
Cut straight to Chucky.
Yep.
Pissed. God damn, you can't have one good thing on this episode. Ugh.
Well, we got the, like, Drew being edgy Drew, though. That's the good thing, right?
I guess, yeah, if I had to chalk up one good thing. I mean, the match itself, like the main event match, was good.
Yeah.
Just a little too many commercials, but that's what you're going to get when you give half an hour to a match that's still on cable. Like, I get it. But yeah, I'd say the whole Drew thing is still the most captivating thing. That's like 2 weeks in a row that something involving The Miz has been my favorite part of Raw, and I'm...
Don't know how to feel about that, do you?
I really don't know how to feel about that. That says more about the state of Raw than it does, I think, my general interests, but...
I would agree with that.
So that's cool. I don't know. Out of 10, I'd say like a 5, just like right down the middle.
I was going to give it a far lower score. I was going to give it like a 3, maybe lower.
It was boring, but it was inoffensive.
Yeah, I mean, okay, yeah, you have a point. I'll go up to like a 4.
I'll take it.
It was not. It was inoffensive. It's not like they did anything horribly wrong or anything. They just
didn't do anything terribly well.
No, I kind of was fighting sleep at some points there, not gonna lie. Like, nap sounds nice right about now.
I could say I watched it, and then you wouldn't have missed anything.
Not really, no. I would have missed that Shinsuke spot.
Oh, yeah.
That was kind of funny. I like that.
A few good things on this episode.
Yeah.
Ultimately. But yeah. So we touched on it. Not super excited now for Fastlane. I guess we'll watch it.
I'll definitely have it on the TV.
Yeah, that's one way of saying it.
I'll probably, at the very least, tune in for the Shinsuke match.
Yeah, for sure.
Maybe the Judgment Day match.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was this week's episode. This one was kind of boring. But there's always next week. We've had a couple Raws in the past month or so that we've been doing this where we've been like, this was a really good episode. So just kind of feels like it's one of those weird moments. I'm sure the day after the pay-per-view we'll come back and we'll be like, wow, Raw was actually okay tonight. Just something about the goddamn go-homes lately. Jesus. All right. Well, in any sense, if anyone's still here listening to this, if you haven't, give us that like, give us a comment, give us a subscribe if you're feeling a little generous. Just, helps us out a ton. But
thanks for watching it to the end if you made it here.
Thanks for watching. If you want, give us a follow on Twitter. We're just at Sheer Drop Wrestle, but it's just no vowels in the wrestle because the username was too long that way. Trying to get a little better at like live tweeting during shows and stuff like that. So just having a fun little community to engage with would be fun. But yeah, so until next time, we've been the Sheer Drop Wrestling team signing out.